And so for me, you already know. So me, I want to just build on the work I did for the pen testing online,
Hmm.
which has to do with a university scenario.
University scenario. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm thinking of getting. I've downloaded it, the web machine environment.
Which one did you download?
Let me see. Need to get. Okay, it's just called web machine N7.
What's that supposed to be? Web machine N7.
Yes, they
Okay,
didn't
what is
write
it?
description. They didn't write description of what it is.
Wait, you downloaded from Web Von Hub?
Yes, no.
Okay. Okay. Can you send me the link where you got this machine from?
Sending it to. So I'm thinking of saying that their their stuff was hosted on a vulnerable web
Okay.
machine.
Okay. But what led you to download this particular VM?
I was just looking at the ones that what can work with my scenario. Right?
Okay.
And since I saw this was a web machine, I was like, okay, maybe it can work with it.
Okay, I get your point. I'm trying to check the description on Google. Okay, give me a minute. Okay, at the web machine, it gives you the graphical user interface to sign in, Abby.
I've not really checked this thing about it. Let me see what's here. Yes, I can see. Let me go and read what it's about. So, I can just see a web machine.
Okay.
So, but what did when you search on it? What did you say?
So I searched this guy who has done a YouTube video on web machine. Yeah, it's a website. It's a website. It has a login screen. It has a web server enumeration. It has SQL hacking. So yeah, you may be doing some SQL related stuff and some web server enumeration stuff on.
Mm,
So it's a good machine, I think.
I think it works well now since I'm doing with school this thing.
Yeah,
So, I can just give a scenario of their database breach and then
exactly.
website.
Yeah, it's for you now to paint the scenario of how you want your attack and your how you want your report to look like,
Mm,
basically. Yeah. Okay. So happy. How far have you gotten any machine you want to work with?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Okay. No, not at all.
All right.
Basically, like what I said earlier is I read the question, I'm having like a lot of confusion on it. That's my
Okay.
problem. I don't know where to start from.
Okay. I'll just give you. I've not really done a lot of work on this assignment. I started it maybe last 2 weeks. I just rushed through chapter one and then I entered chapter two, but I have not done any stuff really.
Okay. Alright.
Yeah. But basically I've gotten a machine I want to work with, and then I've gotten a machine on Von Hub as well. Yeah. It's also a web server. Okay. Let
so,
me
okay,
quickly.
you have to start the assignments all again, but or you're still
Yeah,
making
you
scenario.
so you have to start the me I'm not really working on the previous assignment. I'm not building on the previous assignment, you understand?
Mm,
Because there's no way I can build on that assignment in the sense that my previous assignment, I had router, I had firewall, I had an entire scenario. There's no way I can, there's no way I can build that scenario in VirtualBox. You understand?
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm going to do I'm going to do something different because last time when we spoke to him, he said we should get a machine, something like Metasploitable, and we should document how we hacked it and how we did everything that we did on it, right?
Mm.
Yeah, so I'm gonna build a scenario that is quite similar to the last one, but yeah, maybe
A piece not less bogus like the scenario one.
I didn't get you.
It will not be that bogus like the
Exactly. Yeah,
scenario one.
yeah, yeah. It won't be, yeah, a large scenario. I'm going to build a very, straightforward scenario, and then the scope as well will be narrowed down to a specific. The scope I'll be covering in the hacking phase will be very small, so that I don't get to waste a lot of time and you know waste a lot of resources on it. Although I will still find out from him tomorrow. Uh, I'll still find out from him tomorrow if if what I've just said, if he's cool with it. If he's cool with it, then I would basically go ahead, and that's why I've not done a lot of work on the assignment yet, so that I don't do a lot of work and then show him and he's like, this is not what you were asked to do.
But is it going to be around tomorrow?
That's another question. That's why I'm actually coming. I want to come so I meet him and then share my thoughts with him, and if he's okay with it.
Because he has not even been replying people's email, which is very annoying.
Yeah.
When last do you email him?
I mailed him last week.
Did you try? I don't think this man will be back by tomorrow. I think it's that the other guy that might take us.
Wait, did he travel?
Yeah,
Yeah,
according. Yeah, I said he travel.
Okay. Voila. Okay, okay. I just hope he's back by tomorrow. Sure, because oh, thank you. Because time don't they go. We need to get the work done. Okay. Should I share my screen now?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Uh, rest more now. Then you can bath later. Okay. Fatima.
Yes, yes, Kenneth.
Yeah, but do you understand the assignment?
I told you my laptop is not okay.
Ah, I see. I forgot. Okay. Let me quickly share my screen. Uh, that is penetration testing, pen test report, pen test report. Okay, okay, I'll share my screen. Where do you share screen again, Seth? I only find it entire. Okay, share. All right, screen window, entire screen. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Uh, okay, Von VULNHub.com. Good. So this is the website Adi was talking about, Von Hub. They basically have vulnerable machines on this website. Now, if you go to Canvas, sorry, if you go to Canvas and sign in, go to dashboard, go to pen testing, go to module assessment, go to pen test report, pen test report, right? Yes, that's 19th of April. Okay, pen test report. So the assignment basically says consider penetration testing based on your chosen organizational context. So your chosen organizational context. So it's not compulsory that you base it on the previous assignments that we've already submitted. The scenario should consider the following: identify number of assets and their dependencies, just basically the same thing from the last assignment, like the point here. So consider possible test cases and relevant scenarios. So this one is pretty much straightforward. Then two is, for this you will need to record execution of penetration test. For this you will need to record your screen that demonstrates how each stage was carried out, how each stage of the penetration test was carried out. Each screenshot needs detailed explanation to demonstrate your understanding. Okay, so this second one is a detailed penetration test report. So the first one is your design must be backed up by best practices, must include appropriate references. The section must include all stages of the ethical hacker methodology. Okay, so yes, that's one. Two, pen test report. And then three, each vulnerability found must be properly documented and a possible control must be included. References to best practices are needed in this section. So it's saying that every section 3 will show the controls. So section 3 will show vulnerabilities and how they can be controlled. That's what this section 3 is about. So from section 1, it says that you should build or design your own, your own, what's it called? Your own your own topology. Why am I saying topology? Your own penetration testing scenario. Yeah, yeah. Penetration testing scenario, your own pen testing scenario. So you can design a scenario from here using one of these systems. So all these machines on Von Hub are vulnerable machines. If I go to all, these are all the machines. Sorry. Come on now. Series. Timeline. Is it timeline? Yeah. So these are all the machines available on Von Hub. You can choose any one of these machines and use it to make your report. So my advice is, if you're gonna choose a machine that is pretty much straightforward, that is easy, that you can do the documentation on, and that the exploits are available on the internet. What I mean is, the exploits for these machines, maybe someone has done it on YouTube, or someone has done it on, any streaming website on GitHub. Maybe the documentation is there. As you're doing it yourself and taking screenshots, you're copying from the person's documents and making your own document. This will make your work a lot more easier. So this is my approach. So what I'll do typically would be to open one of the vulnerable machines. So this is what I would do if I was, doing my own assignment. So I'll go to one assignment, let's say digital, local, electrical. This is the one I did using. So just pick one. Sorry. This is the one he was asking us to use in class, Metasploitable. So there's Metasploitable 2 and there's Metasploitable 1. So they're also vulnerable machines. This is the one he made mention of. So they are both vulnerable machines and you can use any of them. So if I was doing the assignment myself, I would say a pick one machine. So this is the machine. you click on download of any of these links, download it, install it on VirtualBox, and you're good. So it says, okay, this one is okay. Sorry. Uh, okay, virtual machine format. Okay, VMware. Okay, this one I think says it works on VMware. So if you're using this one, you may as well install what's it called? Um, VMware instead of VirtualBox. So VMware is the hypervisor you're going to be using to install it. So this is what you'll be using, VMware Workstation. But so for some of the other ones, you can use Oracle. Most of the machines on Von Hub use Oracle. So yeah, this is it. So, but for this Metasploitable, VMware I think is preferred. So let me check the other one. I checked Metasploitable. Let me check Metasploitable one. Ade, sorry, I'm going back. I have to bring Fatima up to speed so she gets what we're talking about as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so the Metasploitable 2 is same thing, VMware, but there are some machines that, let me see, looping is VirtualBox. Yeah, there are some machines that would prefer VirtualBox. So just when you're downloading one, just know the one you're downloading and what hypervisor you're going to be using. So that's that for the vulnerable machines. So if I was going to do this assignment now and I go and pick web machine N7, for instance, add this machine, I pick this machine, this is what I'll do. I've picked web machine N7. I'll copy, go to Google, web machine N7 walkthrough. Okay, click enter and go on medium one. Let's see if we can get something from, okay, GitHub. I wish we could find one from GitHub. Uh, hmm, GitHub. Let's see. Okay, we have a video. We have a couple of videos. This your machine is pretty much straightforward. The video says 16 minutes. Okay, this one says 28 minutes. Let's just open a number of them. So dash, let me see GitHub. So web machine N7. This is medium. GitHub. Phone hub. Let's see if so. Okay. All right. I think we've opened enough. Let's now check. Okay. Adi, can you see the screen?
Yeah.
Yeah. So for, I don't know if you've done this already, but if you put in walkthrough on Google
Yeah.
and with the name of the machine, you'll be able to see like a documentation of everything, like how they hacked the machine, how it gained access, if they rooted the machine, how they rooted the machine, and all of that. So yeah, as you can see, it has a login screen as well. So that's all of it. You can follow this tutorial basically, and you would be able to hack the machine as well. So this tutorial as well will give you a documentation of, you know, what you'll be putting in your pen testing report. That's what you'll be getting from here as well. So let's check what this guy has said. Same thing, just gives how he did it. See, it's a long document. You're just going to follow through, do the same thing he did, and then you'll be done. This one is a video. You can follow through as well. Sorry, good. This one is the Ultimate Web Machine N7, same machine as Adi's. 16 minutes. The guy hacked it in 16 minutes, so you can follow through and you do the same thing. And but this one won't give you documentation. You will now have to come up with the documentation yourself. YouTube, next one. This one is speaking some weird language, so you can just follow what he did as well. He shows how he installed it. So for Fatima, for happiness, if you're looking to install, the vulnerable machine on VMware or VirtualBox, you can do it on YouTube, follow the tutorial, and then you would be done with that. And then you can just follow through and do what the guy did, and you'll be done. So yeah, that's for YouTube. There's another one from GitHub. Uh, GitHub. Let me see if there's any repository that has. Nah, these ones are just vague. I'll just close this one. Close this one. So yeah, but Ade, you get what I'm trying to say, Abby?
Mm,
Yeah. So after you've done your chapter 1, so these guys have already done chapter 2 for you. My advice is don't just copy from the website or take screenshots from the website. Do the same thing the guy did in the videos or in the website. Get the same results, do a screenshot, put in and show how you've done each level of your exploit. Yeah, so
Okay.
that's it. So thirdly, structure of the document. After you've done this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for instance, after you've done this, Adi, you've gone to the websites, maybe you've seen the SQL vulnerabilities. And so the good thing about it is, as you're doing the hack, hmm, if you use Nmap to do a search, sorry, I wouldn't have closed distance. Let me see, Control Shift T. So I want to see if this guy used Nmap at any point. So for instance, if you're using, let me see, what did he use here? Okay, he used GoBuster. GoBuster is a directory traversion kit, right? So if you
I think
use
he
GoBuster,
used,
sorry, I didn't hear you.
I think he used Nmap. There's a section he used Nmap, except we're looking at different
Okay, let me see. Okay, see
um,
map. You see a map here?
SV minus A, PN.
Yeah. So he's searching for the ports with this mmap scan. So if he searches for ports, he's gonna find port 80 is open. Yeah, he only sees port 80 open on this one. So this is a potential vulnerability. You see what he says here? Apache 2.4.46, right? Are you there?
Mm,
Yeah. So what I'm trying to show you is the relationship between this section 2 and 3. So if you come here, you've done Mmap and you found Apache 2.4.46 existing. So you go to website and you do Apache 2.4.46, right? Vulnerabilities CVE. If you go here, you already see Apache 2.4.46. You see the vulnerabilities. Knowing Sherifo, he's going to want to see these metrics in your document. So once you've seen these kind of things, in your response in an mmap scan or in GoBuster or in Derb, just copy these things. You don't even need to know it. Just copy the version you've seen. Go to CVE, put it there. It will show you the vulnerabilities of that machine. You come to your document in controls, in sorry, execution penetration test. When you're at that point where you are saying, this is the vulnerability you found, you're gonna say vulnerability, put the CVE, you put it, and you put how you exploited it. You used mmap to find out that this vulnerability was there. And then in controls, what you're just going to say is this. Was let's see, one of them. So this is one of them, right? Close. This is one of them. So HTTP rapid request exploit. So there was a HTTP request exploit here. All you need to do is go to the MVD. Where is that MVD again? Yeah. From MVD, you'll find the what the vendor has suggested to do as a control. So CWE, hyperlinks, Apache. So this is what fixed in Apache HTTP server 2.4.58, right? So what's the recommendation here? What is the control here? Your control, your control here will be update the existing Apache server. What's your reference? Your reference is this website. Simple. Yeah, please put it in. No, not throw it away. It's good. Yeah. So all you're gonna do is copy this as your reference for that vulnerability or for that control that you're specifying. Once you've copied it, put in your reference, you put that this is the vulnerability and this is this and this is the control. That's all you need to do. So it's pretty much straightforward, right? Yeah. So, but this is just to show you how you just do one. So this is for one, this is for, so he did another mmap scan, then he did deb. Deb is like go bust as well. Use it to find directories that are available. So there's a JavaScript folder, there's a JavaScript folder, there's a jQuery folder, there are various folders. So what is the vulnerability? Folders that have critical documents should not be exposed on a website. They should be hidden. So Derb is not supposed to be able to find such folders. So you know how to, I'm just giving you thoughts of what you're going to do. So structure of the document, that's the next thing we're going to discuss. If you have any questions, please ask. Should I go ahead?
Yes.
All right. So structure of the document. I want to see, there's one I was going through that. Okay, maybe we can use this one. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, doc. So after you've gone through chapter one, after you've gone through chapter one, your scenario, drawing your assets, dependency, and all those rubbish, after you've done chapter one, when you're executing chapter two, you have to use a systematic approach. You have to identify what are the exploits I'm looking at doing. Don't just go and be doing everything that Sheriff O has been teaching us, or the labs, or the things that are in the labs. Just find out what are the exploits I want to do, what are the tests I want to do, what are the penetration tests I want to do. Ask yourself those questions. What are the pen tests I want to do on this vulnerable machine that I've selected? Once you know those, uh, what's it called? Um, test you want to do. That's what is going to give you how many points you're going to have in this chapter two. Straightforward. So, for instance, I want to show you so what a pen test report looks like. This is a typical pen test report that you send to a CEO or a chief security officer in a company, but this is not what Sheriff is asking for. So, in the chapter two, this is what you need to do. Good. After you've decided, how many tests it is you want to leave some for baby O. Okay. After you've decided what you want to do, after you've decided what it is you want to, what are the tests you want to do, you now itemize them here. So chapter two will have different tests. So I want to do authentication tests. That's one. Second one is what the other test. So authentication test will be typically login screen, you know, input fields, all those things. That's authentication test, access control, and all of that. After you've done that, session handling. You remember when what's his name? When Mr. Charles Maru, right? The lecturer for web application test was teaching us. So session handling, session cookies and all of those things. Yeah. So which one are the tests you want to do? So you've done authentication. So session handling. Next one is next one is inter-system communication. That's, you may not do this one. It may be a bit complex. Yeah, but you may just, not do it. So next one is authorization. So authorization would typically be, when we're doing those OTG, that's what's it called? OWASP, OWASP top 10. So accessing folders, accessing files that are hidden. Are you authorized? When you are trying to access those files and it didn't work. So you understand, to authorize someone to access. So see this one now. As you can see, if if the user is not authorized, if the user is not authorized, he will not be able to access some files. So authorization would allow you access the files you're supposed to access. If you're an admin, you're not supposed to access. If you're not an admin, you're not supposed to access some files. If you're a user, there are files you should access. So that's authorization. Do you want to do authorization tests on the website? So next one is cross-site request forgery. So next one is application functionality, application configuration. So this guy has done a couple of tests. Yeah, I think that's where his own ended. Yeah, so those are the amount of tests he did. So my advice is, first, look at the machine you want to use from here. Find the machine, go to Google and YouTube and find out the tests the person carried out on it. So Control Shift T. From what we can see, from what we can from what we can see on this one, sudo map, uh we'll just go back and do this. From what we can see on this one, let's see the test the guy did. The guy did one. The guy did just did an app scan. He did mmap. So he did mmap. Next thing he did was he went to the website, did directory. So this directory can fall under authorization and access control. This directory test he did can fall under authorization. Yeah, can fall under authorization. Next one he did was go buster. That's directory as well. Next thing he did was browse. Next one he did was he hacked the login screen. So somehow he used Bob Suite to get access, and uh, hacked the user here, username and password, and he got access into the file. Yeah. So that one, as we already know, is easy and simple, pretty much straightforward. Is authentication. That one is authentication. It's an authentication test, as you can see here already on this document. Authentication. So that one automatically falls under authentication test. So my advice is, go to the website, find the machine you want to use. For instance, like the one Ade has chosen. Once you found the machine you want to use, go to Google, type in the walkthrough, and find out the test the person did on the website. That's what will do. That's what will give you your chapter 2 free of charge. So you just have your chapter 2 with this. When you're now doing the test, taking the screenshots, you already found out the test the person did. You itemize them into different test cases. So you're going to do an authentication test, you're going to do authorization test, you're going to do session handling test, you're going to do whatever test. So after that, after you've done that, next one is controls. Controls, I've already shown you what to do. You go to CVE, you find the vulnerability from the mmap scan you've already done. From the mmap scan you have already done, you find the vulnerability, find the MVD. Find the MVD, go to the vendor's website and see vendor's advisory. Once you do vendor's advisory, it gives you the remediation for that vulnerability. So the remediation is upgrade to latest version. Simple. Then you put the reference as the vendor's advisory, and that's all. So that's my approach to this assignment. I know the next question is, let me see your own work. This is my work. I've not really, all right, good night. I've not really done anything much. I've just done the front page. I've done the chapter 1. As you can see, there are a lot of blanks. Uh, there are a lot of headings. I've not done anything on it. I now went straight to chapter 2. I started my chapter 2. Yeah, this is where I am. I've not done anything else. All right. So that's all. Any
So,
questions? Any
um,
suggestions?
yeah, I have a question. So, for example, now in this using the penetration test methodology review in class, you must describe this how each stage will be carried out and which tool will be used in each stage for the above scenario. So it's just telling you that okay, you should just talk about how you want to do each of your tests. So if it's enumeration you are using, you say how enumeration is going to work through your scenario, right?
Yes.
Then it
So
said
where
justify
was that question? Sorry.
is in chapter one.
This one?
Yes,
Yeah.
so this
Yeah.
part, yes, all this part, I
Mm.
really don't understand how what is asking.
Me, typically, I'll use a table for this part. So I'll just say, uh, what are the stages again? There's enumeration, there's
Reconnaissance,
reconnaissance, yeah, yeah, there's
scanning,
privilege escalation, all those rubbish. Yeah, you're going to identify them. And then you're going to, me personally, I'll use a table for this. As you can see on my document, I've not done it. I just itemize them. Yeah. I'm just going to put them and I'm going to put the tools. Typically, enumeration, you're going to use mmap, you're going to use Wireshark. I'm just going to list those things out there. I'm going to use Wireshark to, I'm going to use mmap to do service scan on the IP address and find the open ports and all of that. That's all I'm going to say. Which other level is there? There's a privilege escalation. I'm going to explore within the machine if there are vulnerabilities that I can exploit to do this, to do that, to do this. Which softwares am I going to be using? I'm going to be using Linux, Kali. I'm going to be using Legion. I'm going to be using this one. I'm going to be using that one. Basically, those are the things I'm going to be listing out. So you're just going to find out. Okay, let me just make it clear.
eh,
Uh,
eh,
what's it called?
I think I think I already get that. Then this one that it says justify what type of tests are appropriate for each case is
Mm.
black, white, gray. What does it mean by
So
that?
what test are you doing on the website? Are you doing a black test? Are you doing a white test? Or are you doing a gray test? A gray test, a white test is a test that the company has supplied you all the information. The company may have given
Mm,
you username and password. The company may have given you uh, some functions that are in the website. The company may have given you, various information about the website. That's a white test. You have prior information about the application. Greatest, you have some information, but not in-depth information. Greatest, you may have IP address. That's only it. Some greatest, they can give you username and password to log into the application.
now,
Those are
so
some greatest.
we are doing a red test because we are
No,
acting like
there's no
an
red test.
attacker,
There's no red test.
right?
It's a black test. A black test
Which
is a
one
test.
is the one acting as an attacker?
That's a black test. A black test is a test that no information has been given to you. They just told you this is the application
So
that we work with in our company.
test.
Can you hack it and let us know? I didn't hear you. Ade, you're
Okay,
breaking up.
sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm here. I can hear you now.
In case we are doing a back test, Abi, we
No,
can
it
just
depends
decide
on
to
you. It depends on you. So it depends on
okay.
you. It depends on how you've painted your scenario. You can say the company has provided us username, password. It depends on you paint your scenario the way you want to deal with it. You get. So you can say in that number, the company has provided us with IP address of the application, has provided us username and password, has provided us some functionalities of the application. Based on this, the test that will be carried out on this website or this web application will be a white test. And you give your reference that white test, oh, this is it. This is how I test her. You understand?
Mm,
Yeah, it depends on your scenario completely.
okay.
This one is a rubbish question. There's no such thing.
Which one?
It's a one-on-one project. Each person is doing their own work. How do you want to tell
Which
blue teaming and blue and red teaming? Or you can just put something there and say blue teaming can, just put something there. But I think
one
it's
is that?
this one here. Can you see
How
my screen?
blue team? Let me see. Wait, hey, that place.
It's a question that doesn't make any sense to me. So you can put whatever it is you want to put there. Me, I've not answered it. I don't think he reads through some of these things. I think he just finds them on the internet or finds them from someone and then posts it.
Then what is this one? How to gain access to the system and escalate the privilege based on the choosing assets.
You will say this is identified in chapter 2, in section 2.
Okay, so this could be discussed more in section 2. Finish.
Yeah, straightforward. Because it's in section 2 now. Why do I want to start discussing it again in section 1? It's the same question
If
that is in
it's
section 2.
a specific type of malwares that are suitable to breach, that will be in section 3.
I'm not answering that question because we are not using malware. Are we building malware? I said he doesn't read through some of these things. You're not using a malware. You're using like vulnerabilities that are available on the website. It's different from malware. So a vulnerability is different from malware. Malware is malicious software that has code that can damage a machine or do some certain activities. This one, you're finding a port that is open and you're exploiting it by, using some of your skills. So they are two different things.
You guys should carry on and come. Let me pick this call.
Yeah, so that's all of it. Does any other person have anything to say? Contribute, ask a question, whichever one.
Kenneth,
Yes, go ahead.
uh, for the task one in this assignment,
Mhm.
can we choose the scenario that we did in the last assignment?
Yes, definitely. But if you've been hearing what I've said since, I said it will be hard for you to build that scenario in your virtual box because we need to hack, we need to do hacking in this assignment. You understand?
Okay, okay,
But
okay.
it's actually possible. All you just need to do is reduce the assets
Yes, you
you
can
have.
reduce
So
the assets.
make it smaller.
Yes,
Okay,
you can reduce the assets to a single machine, to a single server, to a single application, and remove all those irrelevant firewall switches and all of that and use a single machine. It is doable.
okay. Just
Yeah,
like the test scenario we created, test cases scenario.
exactly. But
Okay,
you
okay,
have to be specific enough in your chapter 1 to say that this pen testing that is done in chapter 2 is limited to this particular system. You understand?
okay,
Is specific to this particular system. Ade, you're doing your own. You're using this 7N7 as what, the school's web server, right? I'll be the school's web application. So yeah, I'm assuming Ade, you're using this as a school's web application. So you're limiting your work or you're restricting your work to one application, saying that this is the application the pen test will be done on. Although there are other assets, the firewall, the routers, the switches, everything is there. This is the one you're going to be focusing on. So yeah. Do you understand what I'm saying, Fatima?
yeah.
Okay.
Not full, little like some things.
Yeah, it's fine.
I will start the assignment. I will understand.
Happy, your hand has been up since morning.
So she started the video. I be the recording like when I didn't hear
Yeah.
anybody was saying anything. That was why I was leaving.
Okay. But you get what we are talking about now, Abby.
Yeah, I do. I do.
Okay. Do you have a Windows machine or you're still using your Mac?
I have a Windows machine.
Okay, that's good. So what you can do to start out is choose a machine, go to
Mm-hmm.
Google, do the walkthroughs, find out which machine is suitable that you can work with. That is easy. Once you've done that, download the hypervisor you're going to be using. That will be two VirtualBox.
Okay.
Sorry,
Which
keep
one?
typing. Oh, it was even here. Yeah, VirtualBox or VMware Workstation Pro. No,
Mm.
VMware Workstation Player. So these are the two virtual hypervisors that are used on Von Hub. If you check this one, it says virtual machine is VirtualBox. So that's
Okay.
this one. So yeah, so you just go to downloads and you get the one for the host you're on. If you're on Mac OS, Windows, or Solaris, whatever. If you want to, if you're using one that is for VMware, for instance, I think Metasploitable one says it prefers VMware. So this one is the free one because it's the one students can use. So VMware Workstation Player, uh, download for free.
Okay.
Yeah, you download it and then you get it. Once you have it installed, it will appear like this or this. I have the two. VirtualBox. So you will need to have the Kali machine you will be using to hack the system you're using. Then you will need to have the machine. If you're using Metasploitable, whichever one, CyberOps, this is the one we used last semester, Ubuntu, you will need to
Mm.
have the two machines. Yeah, this one is the vulnerable one. That's the one you're using for your documentation, and this is the one you'll be using to hack this one. So you need to have the two of them. If you're doing it in VirtualBox, the two of them needs to be on the same uh, hypervisor. If you're using VirtualBox, if you want to use VMware, that's the same thing. If you want to do it on VMware, make sure the two of them are on. I don't have those ones. I just have a Windows 10 and a Windows 7 on my VMware. So because I don't need them on my VMware. So, but you can do the same thing basically. You can have your Kali and then the Metasploitable, the one you'll be using. So yeah, so that's what you need to do, and then you start your documentation.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no
Mm.
work in the chapter one and chapter two. There's no work in the chapter one. The work is in chapter. The work is in chapter two, I believe.
Okay. For the screen recording, like you said, I guess it's talking about screenshots, right? We don't have to start
Yes,
recording.
it's just screenshots. Yeah, it's just screenshots.
Okay.
Yeah,
But that screen recording he was saying was just a little bit confusing.
screenshots. I think it's even a screenshot. Yeah, screenshot needs detailed explanation. A screenshot that he's talking
Okay.
about.
Alright, no problem. Thank you.
Yeah, no wahala.
Uh, in section 3,
Mhm.
you said like we just need to add like controls and remedies, how we control the
So
vulnerability.
the reason I told you, yeah, yeah, the reason I told you to itemize your this thing, the what's it called, the test you'll be doing is because of this. The reason I told you to itemize the test you'll be doing is because of this. So this is how chapter three. This is how my chapter three will look like. Eh?
Okay.
This is how my chapter three will look like. So you have the uh, vulnerability,
Mm,
and then you have the control, right? So I told you to itemize it. So for instance, in Addis one of the vulnerabilities we had identified is the one with authentication, right? So under authentication, we had a vulnerability for what? Under authentication, we had an Apache vulnerability, right?
mm-hmm.
Yeah, we had 2.4.46, right?
Mm-hmm.
Outdated. So outdated, I can say vulnerable to from the I can get this from the CVE, right? Vulnerable to vulnerable to A, B, C. CVE. I put the CVE dash 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 dash. CVSS dash 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 dash. Then I come here and say and give the remediation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Remediate remediation. What did what did the vendor say? The vendor said what?
Updated the version.
Good. So vendor said update to latest version.
Mm.
I put my reference apache.com -- That's 4. So I'm not saying the only vulnerability you find in authentication is going to be the one with Apache, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, sorry, that's a mistake. Uh, this one wasn't under authentication. This one was under the web server, right? It
Yeah,
wasn't under
yeah.
authentication. Yeah, it was under web server. Web server. So this Apache server vulnerability. So we had an outdated Apache server. Yeah. So this is it. So this is it. Basically, you put your reference. This is your reference, and you can also put reference for CVR and CVSS. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
So for the second one, you can say
Mm-hmm.
authentication. So authentication, right? So, and in authentication, we found out that the guy was able to hack the username and password, right?
Okay.
Yeah, the guy was able to hack the user. How he did it, we don't know. Is up to Adi because it's her work to find out how the guy hacked the username and password. So when Adi finds out how the guy hacked it, she'll put the reason how what the vulnerability is. Maybe, for instance, let's say one vulnerability is passwords words were transferred in clear test. Remember, passwords are supposed to be encrypted when they are being transferred. But for instance, I'm saying, for instance, the vulnerability here is, for instance, that the passwords were transferred in clear test and Bob suit was able to capture the password, right? So we'll say password captured in burp, right? After you've said captured password in burp, you put your reference. You say you come here and then you put remediation. Password must be encrypted in transit, right? And then you find a reference. Let's say OWASP authentication. So OWASP says user IDs, usernames, password length. Yeah, you can copy this and do it. And this is your reference. I know I'm rushing this, but do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So this is basically what my chapter 3 would look like. So this would be my reference for the remediation for this. So this will not have a CVSS score or a CVSS metric because it's not a software, it's not a system, it's human error. He failed to configure how passwords should be transmitted. So this is the vulnerability and this is the remediation. You go further like that until you captured every test you've done in chapter 2. So if you've done 5 tests, then 5 controls should be here. So every
Okay.
test you've done in chapter 2 should be considered in chapter 3 as well. So yeah, that's it from me. Is there any other question?
Thank you for now.
Okay,
Okay, and thank you so much.
no wala. So see you guys tomorrow. If anyone needs any more help, then we can discuss.
All right, no problem.
Yeah, Ade, I think you're still on your call. We're ending now.
All right,
Later
bye.
now.
Bye.
Okay. Bye,
I'm
Kenneth.
done.
All right,
Guys, we'll start, right? Thanks.
all right,
Good
all right,
night.
guys. Take care. You'll be good.
Good night.